Okay, to get our monsters ready for sewing today, this is what we want to accomplish. We want to have our monsters with arms and legs all pinned in place so it's ready to sew. It's going to look weird because we need to begin with the end in mind. The end in mind is when we sew, we actually sew while our monster's inside out. So what I mean by this is today we're going to be sewing arms and legs. When I flip this the other way, sorry, my monster's falling apart here, but you can see my arms and my legs are sewn into my monster. But when I sew, I'm actually sewing with my monster like this. You can see this is where I've sewn him. And the reason why we do that is because then when we flip him inside out, all of our stitches are hidden and he's just nice and put together and nothing's falling apart. So when we start flipping stuff so that it's inside out like this and it looks weird, that's why. So to begin with the end in mind, we're gonna get this monster all ready to be sewn next time we come in. So this is where we're going today because our monster's getting sewn inside out. Okay, 5th grade, today we're going to start getting our monster ready. We're not going to be physically sewing today, but we're going to be getting some parts and pieces ready. So here's what you're going to need. This material here, there's lots of different choices you can see. This is called Smart Fab. The Smart Fab is really rather see-through. This is what's going to be used for the body of our monster. The other material we're going to be using today is felt. The felt is fuzzier, it is less see-through, and the felt is what's going to make up all the different pieces of our monster. So if you have not finished your sketch, you need to finish your sketch first and then go check it with Miss Santellin to make sure that it's going to work. So if you have not shown your sketch to Miss Santellin, stop, go pause this, show her, come back. Okay, so when we're looking at our sketch, the only things that we're going to be working with today are things that stick out from the main rectangle. So arms, legs. My face is inside the rectangle. I'm not messing with that today. We'll do that later. Right now I'm working arms and legs. So I'm going to need to select 2 pieces of Smart Fab fabric for the body of my monster because he's not going to be 2D, he's going to be 3D, so he's going to need a front side and a back side, which obviously we don't have on a 2D piece of paper. You can pick 2 of the same colors or you can pick 2 different colors so that your monster is two-toned. Either which way is fine with me. I think for me, I'm going to pick 2 of the same. Okay, so you will go to the designated spot and grab 2 of those. Once you have your 2 pieces of Smart Fab, you're going to be deciding what colors of felt you want to use for your arms and legs. I've decided I'm going to use this teal and this pink color. Maybe I have teal and pink legs or any version of the sort. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. So I've got these 2 things. I'm going to need pins and I'm going to need a pair of scissors today. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to be making my arms and legs out of the felt. I will use my sketch to help me. When I do this, I want them to be decently big. So you can either lay it right on top and trace with a Sharpie, or you can just free cut it out. But what you don't want is teeny tiny, really skinny arms because they're not going to work, arms or legs. Okay, so does it need to be perfect? No. Are you trying to get it close? Yes. Okay, so now, using my sketch as reference, I'm going to make sure that my fabric is going the right way. I'm just going to use 1 to start with. So you could go that way, you could go that way. Mine's going up and down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the edges up with the edges of my monster. I'm just placing them the way that I want them. All right, once I'm here, this part is important. My monster is going to be sewn where it's inside out. So I need to put all of my arms and legs and flip them to the inside. I want the edge to still line up with the edge of my rectangle, but instead of flipping out, I'm going to flip it in. It's not going to stay like this. When I'm done with all my sewing, it's going to look like this. But for today, we need all of them to flip in. Flip in, flip, 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 and flip. So I'm going to make a sandwich out of this. I have my other piece of Smart Fab. I'm going to lay it on top and make myself a monster sandwich. So I've got Smart Fab, felt, Smart Fab. I need to pin these together. The pins are going to make sure everything stays in place because next week I'm going to be sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I grab my whole sandwich, bread, meat, bread. I'm going to stick a pin through one side so it goes all the way through. Then I'm going to bend it and push it back through the other side. So my pin is flat. The front is right here. These are sharp, they will poke you. You want to pin your arms and legs all in place, so each one needs a pin. You're gonna hold on to the pins today. They're gonna come back to me after we sew. What we're gonna be doing when we sew is we're gonna be sewing right here. So we're gonna be sewing the arms and legs to the Smart Fab so that they are connected to our monster. This is where I stopped today. I'm going to carefully have this in my folder and be careful not to stab myself. And at this point, I am done. This is where I stopped today. I'm not going to do anything else.